Hey everyone, my name is Cornflower and I'm a full-time cancer researcher and software engineer streaming a variety of games part-time on Twitch. I'm also a Capcom creator and competitive Splatoon player, so if that's something you might be interested in, then please be sure to follow us on Twitch to catch us live sometime. Today's video features a really fun co-op gameplay session with one of the developers of my new favorite ultra cozy game, APICO. In short, APICO is a laid-back beekeeping sim game about breeding, collecting, and conserving bees that was developed by TNGineers and published by Whitethorn Games. So I had just learned about APICO while attending PAX East in April of this year, and it was seriously love at first sight. I was immediately drawn to the game's premise, its art style, and this adorable LGBTQ+ t-shirt featuring a ring of bees with different pride color variations, which I purchased obviously. About a week before APICO was released, a thought occurred to me. Wouldn't it be fun if we got to hang out and play APICO multiplayer with the devs? And maybe turn it into a chill Q&A session to not only learn more about APICO and its future, but to also learn about the duo behind this wonderfully cozy game. So I decided to give it a shot because why the heck not? I reached out to one of the devs to introduce myself and ask about how they would feel about playing APICO and live streaming with us, and they said yes. And that brings us to this video, an edit of the original 3.5-hour live stream on Twitch edited down to just the Q&A bits and pieces with ELLRAISER. I hope you enjoy watching this video. The whole live stream was so much fun, so I will be linking the Twitch VOD in the description below for anyone who might be interested. There are a ton of funny moments to enjoy, so definitely check it out or stay tuned for some more APICO-based content coming soon. Alright, I did make a list of potential questions, if I can find them.
Okay. Yeah, just whatever
Okay.
comes up.
Yeah.
If chat wants to throw some questions as well.
Yeah. I do know that yesterday was about as nightmarish as you expected.
Oh, it was horrible. To be honest, I didn't know. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. So yeah, I was kind of like nervous up until pressing the button. Very anticlimactic. Press the button and then like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
And then just like floods of
I'm
DMs
so
like
impressed.
all day.
Like, you are so responsive.
Yeah, some of the stuff as well was like multiplayer doesn't work, which is like the last thing I want to hear just as the game is launched. Yeah, so it was just a lot of stuff like that, and like some urgent thing, nothing too major. Luckily, like I tried to finally get some sleep.
Oh yes, I
night.
wanted to ask, how well did you sleep?
Oh, not at all. And I woke up at like 5 in the morning, like, oh my god, I need to fix everything. So I looked at all the bugs, but there actually wasn't that many.
You can emote?
Luckily, yeah, you can do that little top right thing. You can do.
Oh my gosh.
You can just be really
cute.
Really passive aggressive with the sleeping one. Just be like, you're boring.
Oh, leave me on 3 dots.
You're boring. You're boring.
I love it.
No, this is me exhausted. This is me on
left on read, yeah.
4 hours sleep. So yeah, I went through like all the bugs and DMs this morning just to try and like what's urgent, because there was a bunch of stuff that was like, you know, like really minor stuff, like, oh, I can't remap some really niche key on the keyboard, which I was like, okay, well that can wait, I'm sure. And then it was stuff like, I'm gonna just build myself a little house. And then it was stuff like, you know, like some of the multiplayer things. There's something with like Game Maker and Steam, just people couldn't actually join the game, which was annoying. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. Like I didn't have to do as much as I was expecting. I just kind of woke up like, oh my god, it's going to be so much I have to do, like sweating. And then kind of like as I sat and read through, I was like, okay, actually that's not too bad.
Okay, that's good. I actually woke up at 5 because I was so excited. But yeah, so
very
completely
different wake-ups today, yeah. just woke up like, oh my god, why did I do this? Such a nightmare.
Imagine.
But it's fine now. I think like, especially when I like now, like actually playing the game, I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Like this was worth it.
Yeah.
Especially like when the Switch version, yeah, exactly. When the Switch version comes out, like that'd be so worth it. But like I've got a Steam Deck.
Ooh.
Managed to get one. So the Steam Deck runs the same like mode as the Switch, because I had to like, obviously I can't have I don't know if you've done like gamepad mode, but I can't do like the multiple menus of PC to change a few things.
Yeah.
But then when we got it on the Switch is tiny, which I didn't realize for a long time. So I still haven't played it on the Switch. But then when I got the Steam Deck, it's basically the same size.
Yeah.
So I tried it on that and kind of finished it off on that.
Nice.
But yeah, so on handheld, like it's so nice to just be like cuddled up and have the game. And for like testing it, for me, like I'm so sick of sitting at the computer. So it was nice to be like this is nice. Like I'm gonna be so just blinding everyone in the forest now with these windows.
They add light. Those add light.
So yeah, it's gonna be nice on the Switch. The console porting has kind of been a bit of a nightmare, but I think it's got to a point now like Switch are like so close to just approving it. They're just doing some
Ooh, nice.
They've had some issues with some of the like Japanese. They always test it in like Japanese.
Yeah.
So, and obviously like I never really do test it in Japanese, so loads of the issues are like, well, none of this works.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that was a bit annoying, and then PlayStation's technically been approved now, but even though it's approved, we kind of have to wait for all of them to say like,
see.
We're ready. So that we can do like a sim. I'm going to steal this workbench.
It's okay.
So that we can do like everyone launches at the same time kind of thing. So you have to wait till they're all approved, and then they'll give you some dates, and you can be like, okay, let me like try and find a date that works. And I'm also trying to find like a silly bee-themed date that works, because I think there's one in June or July that's like don't tread on a bee day, which is so niche. But I was like, that would be like the perfect day to
I would love that.
To just release consoles. Be like, don't release on a bee, don't step on a bee, and don't step on my console builds, please be nice. So Mrs. Beekeeper was saying, what's the inspiration? So there's an old Minecraft mod called Forestry. Me and my brother used to play a lot of like modded Minecraft, especially Tekkit. And Forestry, like I haven't played the newer one, but the old version, like it had a lot of stuff. It had a lot of stuff with like trees and cross-pollination and like really in-depth into nature, but it then had like a little segment on beekeeping, which is basically the basic concept that we've got here of like smash two bees together and get a queen, and how the crossbreeding uses like Punnett squares. That was what the it's the new Forestry is kind of still the same. So that's what the kind of main beekeeping was, but we'd always kind of play that together, and Jamie would be going and doing these huge quarries and stuff, and I would just made like a little tree house with some bees, and I'd be like, I'm happy here, as he like mines the world into nothing.
That's actually me.
It's so like opposite play styles. So I was playing that, and then I was like, it's like this fun little breeding mechanic, but there could be like so much more done with it, because it's a bit like a collectathon. There's like 500 of them, and they kind of get a bit basic after a while. So it was kind of thinking about, that'd be really cool if it was like a full game based on that. And in the UK with COVID and everything, I was kind of put on furlough, which is when the government kind of just paid everyone's job because no one could work. So I had like 3 months of just sitting doing nothing, which was great for like the first few weeks. I was like, great, I'm just going to play video games and do nothing else. And we were playing loads of modded Minecraft again, and then that's when I was kind of like, you know, like this would be so fun as a game. I always wanted to make a game. Let's just give it a go. And just tried making it in JavaScript of all languages, which was a terrible idea.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting's, yeah, a choice. And then, like, because I wasn't really thinking it was going to go anywhere, so I didn't.
I get that.
I didn't think much of it. And then, you know, and then people, I was posting about it on Twitter, and people were like, oh, you know, like, I'd love to play this. So then I kind of released it. I'm just seeing what stuff of yours I can steal. And then I'm going to steal some of these logs. And then, if you're wondering where anything's So yeah, like you say, like I just wanted to kind of do it for myself. Can I make a game?
Yeah.
And then other people were like, I would like to play this game also. So then we just kind of released the demo as it was, the JavaScript one, and it was like buggy as hell. But people just really liked it. So then we'd kind of put it in a few promos and stuff. There was one of those like pitch your game Twitter events.
Oh, nice.
So we had been in that, and we were in that like the week that Whitethorn were like covering, which is our publisher now. And they were like, oh, you know, like we need this game, kind of jokingly on Twitter. And I looked him up, and I was like, yeah, I was like, unless. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to turn off my DMs, which have already built up substantially. So yeah, I kind of just reached out to him at the start of last year and was like, hey, you know, if you're interested, this is the game, like did a little pitch deck. And they were like, we love it, but we hate that you use JavaScript. You are a nutter.
Right.
And there's no way that you know, that's just not going to happen for porting to consoles and stuff. So I kind of did some research, and I'd used GameMaker a long time ago, and I kind of checked it out. What was I saying? Yeah, so I said, like, you know, I've used GameMaker for a bit. I could probably, you know, kind of move the game into that. If I moved the game into GameMaker, would you guys then consider it? And they were like, hell yeah, let's do it. So, but then just spent like 3 months porting the game into GameMaker first, and then actually finishing the game. So yeah, it's a bit nuts.
Nice. So, as a developer, how do you feel about Friday deployments?
I was going to say I didn't have much choice in it. I basically was like, we were kind of waiting to put all the consoles on and PC and just do like big shit, everything go.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, definitely wouldn't have wanted to do that, because, you know, this was
Imagine.
enough on PC, but let alone like 3 platforms worth. So yeah, I was kind of like, you know, that was in January. We were thinking, oh, you know, we'll just ship it and that'll be fine. And then you know, it's like 5 months later, and we were like, there is no way that this is going to happen anytime soon. And I was like, you know, the World B Day is coming up. We have to do something. Like we need to be doing something. And it just so happened that it was a Friday. But I think like from what it's kind of been so far, it's actually kind of been fine. Because Friday we had kind of like a jump with like the press release stuff was all on Friday. I need to mute this channel. Just gonna have to mute my own server until I turn it back on. Okay, that's better. No more pings. A little break from pings. So yeah, ended up being like the press release on Friday, and then that kind of did like a bump of stuff, and then obviously like people after work were kind of picking it up, and then it's kind of been a fight again on Saturday. Like the people obviously kind of must have seen it on Friday and been like, oh yeah, I'd love to play that. Like when it gets to the weekend. And so yeah, it was kind of fine for what's the peer tiles again. So it ended up being kind of fun. But I know when we said about it, quite a few people were actually like, ooh, like risky choice doing it on a Friday.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realise was like
a thing.
A thing. Because I'm like, as a developer, I'm an absolute cowboy. Like I'll just push anything to production any time of today. I'll just do it. I'll be like, this needs fixing and I'm doing it now.
God.
So yeah, I'm a nightmare to work with for sure. But yeah, I didn't really think about it I was just thinking like it's World B Day, like we've got to be releasing like what more could you want on World B Day?
I feel like I might know the answer to this question, but
okay.
Between you and your brother, who got to play as Mario?
Probably me. Mainly because I'm the younger brother, so
that nice.
I just would have whinged, and he would be like, "Okay, fine." And I'd be like, "Thanks, Timmy."
Imagine having nice older siblings that let you play as Mario.
Hashtag can't relate.
I can't. So I'm the youngest of five. 6.
Oh wow.
5 older siblings, and I distinctly remember having moments where they would let me play in quotes. My controller wouldn't even be connected, but
oh wow. Okay.
So I know it just released and everything, and you probably don't want to think about expansions and stuff, but
oh God, there's more.
Well, just ideas, just the general idea of like things you would want to
we've
add,
actually got like
seasonal,
quite a lot of things.
Nice. I'm
so
excited
I said
for
I
that.
I wanted to do butterflies for a while.
Yeah.
Just to kind of expand on, like I said, the flower stuff and some of the different effects that they can have and how they kind of tie in bees. So, you know, just different butterflies that will appear based on different conditions. And then probably have some kind of crossover with normal bee breeding.
Right.
Oh, I've lost you. Where have you gone? Oh, okay. But also to bring in like solitary bees, because I think like it's obviously been quite a lot of learning for me, because you know I like bees, but I'm not an expert by any shot. So it's been good that I've had actual beekeepers be like, you know, hey, this is pretty great. Like apart from the magical bees, and some geneticists who were like, yeah, it's fun, but that's not how bee genetics work. I got like a lecture in hardcore bee biology. I was I'm so sorry, but that doesn't make a fun game. I mean, it probably could if you spent the time to do it.
Right.
But so one of the things as well was like finding out that for the most part, like people kind of talking about save the bees they're not specifically on honeybees per se, but like solitary species of bee. So obviously, like I've just made this game that doesn't help the cause by making it all about honeybees. So I want to do an update that kind of brings in solitary bees, and I'm going to do like, you know, you make little bee hotels, and you put different things in the hotels, and then based on what you put in the hotels, different bees might turn up. And you can't use them in hives, but it will be like just a little magnifying glass and be like, whose little friends stop by my hotels? And kind of try and tie them in with the butterflies and the hives, and just try and like expand that whole just the ecology of everything and how it kind of fits it. So I think it let me kind of fill a few holes that I feel were missing with the flowers. Even though for the most part, like it's fine, like there's a decent amount of flowers and they kind of have all of the buffs that you would expect. But I want to do more. And the butterflies would just be so cute. So that's what I'm thinking for the first one. And then I've got an idea for a second one, which is basically to kind of expand on these oceans that we've been sailing around in. Nice little random thing. Expand on the oceans because I basically want to do one is fishing, and obviously it's going to be actual bees that you fish up rather than real fish, because we're in a world filled with bees. This is the point where it gets to I've just got unhinged and I'm just adding what I want now, regardless of whether it makes sense anymore. So I want to add bee fishing, where you fish up bees. And I'm going to do you remember, did you ever play, was it Gen 3 Pokemon? It's like Emerald and Ruby. You could get like...
have not.
Oh, okay.
But...
You could get like Dive, which was like a HM. And any of the deep water, you could like dive to the bottom of the ocean, and you'd be like exploring around the bottom. So because we've got all this like empty ocean, I was like, that'd be so cool if you could like dive down, and you've got like a little ancient, like the diving bell helmets, and you're just kind of like bobbing around under the sea, and we could have some like really weird bees that live at the bottom of the ocean, what are they, like the anglerfish kind of weirdos at the bottom, and then do stuff with like coral reefs and stuff. So because we got all of this empty like water, it'd be nice to kind of populate it with some other stuff. So I think that as well would like help fill in not some of the gaps, because I think like the game's got enough in, like it's got loads of stuff going on. Like we've got that middle area, and then there's a few other like secret areas and like an ending area. But there's just some other stuff that I'm like, this would be nice to do. But at some point you got to call it a day and ship it and have this is the game, and then this is the other stuff, because otherwise it would just be like, I could add all that stuff in now if you want the game in like 5 years. Or you could like release it now and get everyone's like feedback and all the things other people are like already people are like, oh, I'd love if you had way more furniture and decoration and tiles and walls, which is not saying I did like a decent amount, but I wasn't like, yes, APICO, the building game. So I didn't really think about it, but then people have, obviously been, oh my God, please stop notifications. Jesus Christ. So this is like my nightmare. It's just all these
They're not
notifications.
there.
I just can't,
We're just
can't
here. We have
anything.
Our bees. Little bee friends.
It's like Jamie, my brother Jamie texts me. He's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Fine." He's like, "Oh God." Because he kind of doesn't have any sort of visibility on he doesn't do any of the coding stuff. So it's kind of been like me slogging away on this stuff recently, and he's been like tested it, but then like when anything goes wrong, he's like, is there anything I can do? I'm like, no, but thank you.
Oh, well, just the thought.
I need to get him to start learning coding, then I can just dump it all on him.
Yeah, get him working.
Yeah, working away. So you think he's making all this lovely story, writing all this delicious lore, when he could be fixing all these horrible bugs that no one wants to fix.
Speaking of bugs, I actually wanted to ask, or maybe it's too soon, so you're free not to answer, but if there's been like a specific memorable bug that really had you like laughing at the end of it, like because it was absurd.
There has been some crazy, I'm trying to think, because there has been a lot of like crazy ones. So there were some mad ones. I'm trying to think what some of them were. There was one where you could save in a boat, and then when you came back, you weren't in a boat. You were in this like ghost mode, invisible, and you could move at like boat speed everywhere.
That's awesome.
And you can still kind of do it with multiplayer, but you can't go on land. But you used to be able to just be this ghost that could just like run around.
Do I want to ask about the roof tiles?
Yeah, so for anyone who didn't know, that once upon a time there was actually roofs in this game, and I've vetoed them and banned them, and we're not having them again because it was such a mess. To be fair, it was also in the JavaScript version, so like everything was
Okay.
already a mess.
Yeah.
But the roof especially. And then I just decided, like, aesthetically, I kind of like this open plan,
Yeah.
chunky wall situation. And now I just refuse. So unless someone mods it in, there's no going back now. Everyone living in the open air. All your stuff can get rained on. So yeah, I think originally I wasn't ever going to do multiplayer. So you can thank our publisher for that, actually.
Oh.
Because Matt was like, Matt was like, we have to do it. Like, we have to do multiplayer. I was like, what do you mean we? It's going to be me doing the horrible network code. And he was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, because I'd done quite a lot of server stuff for my work, so like I had a vague understanding of what I needed to do, just not how I could then like plug it into Game Maker. So it was fun, it was fine, but it's the testing it that's a bit of a nightmare, because when someone's like, oh, this doesn't work, especially like after doing this whole stream, I'm like, it definitely does work, so something weird has happened. But trying to find out like what is going on is impossible. But yeah, if it currently Whiteform's Q8 Ashley, she's trying to like try a bunch of weird stuff with multiplayer, just to kind of see if she can find out what's doing the desync stuff. And then I saw I had to turn off notifications because that's what I was looking at. Someone saying that they were like getting it, so it's like I kind of need to get hold of you now and be like, what did you do? Like, tell me exactly while it's still fresh in your head. Please tell me what you did.
Yeah.
But I think it'll end up being something stupid. Like, one of the things we had was on Linux specifically, for some reason, there's like a lost and found box that you've probably seen like in town, or maybe not, because you came here and never left.
I can't, please.
So there's a lost and found that's like, if somehow you were to lose a key item, like the idols or an NPC, they kind of respawn in the lost and found.
NPCs will respawn in the lost and found.
Yeah, if you somehow lost your nan, she'd just come back and be like, where did you go? I'm sorry, nan.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, the lost and found thing was fine. I don't remember putting them there. And but what was happening is, like, what I was doing was really lazy in the game, where I was basically just saying like, okay, clear all the slots and then find out what is missing. And a lost and found's probably got like 20 different slots in it, so it was sending 20 little packets to the other player to be like, clear this slot all on the same frame, and it would just like make the game crash immediately. Well, not crash immediately, like the socket would crash immediately, so then the person kind of desynced and wouldn't be able to see anything happen after then. And it was a nightmare to try and find out, because I was talking to this guy who's been helping out on a lot of Linux stuff, and I was like, there's got to be something like what are you, like, step me through exactly where you walked and like what are you doing. And it had just been because he had kind of offhandedly been checking the lost and found like sometimes, but not really thinking about it, just kind of like, oh, what's in there, and that was what was crashing it. So I think there's probably something again like that situation,
right?
And when I find it, it'll be that classic like, oh yeah, obviously it was that. But it's just up until that point, it's just annoying that it's like, it works fine, so what weird little thing is going on,
right?
And please let me find it so I can sleep.
So I know you haven't played Stardew, but have you seen speed runs?
No, and I love GDQ so much. Like, that's my go-to want something to watch. I think I've watched everything on their channel at this point, because I'm like, even the games I have no idea, I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this anyway. But I did see the Stardew one, and I was like, I didn't realize there was like an end, because I thought it was kind of very. Although I guess most sandboxes do have some sort of end now, but I kind of just didn't realize there was an end. And two, it was like half an hour. I was like, oh, God knows what wizardry they do in this. But yeah, I haven't seen that one yet, and I don't know if would it spoil like
Oh,
like I'm trying to avoid inspiration from Stardew basically, because so many people say that this is like Stardew. I'm like,
well,
I
okay, so
can't
we
play it
were
now.
no. You can. You
Okay.
absolutely can. It's the just the art style and that fact that it's a sim game is
Is
really
it more
the
that it's
only
just like
overlap.
cozy,
Yeah, it's just like
and they
another.
both happen to have bees in it?
Yeah, you don't even get to see the bees in Stardew, and
What's
the
the point?
beehives aren't like wild beehives. They're the kind for their boxes.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying to the did a podcast a while ago for um harvest season podcast. They do like farming games as their thing, and I was like, like really sorry to say on this podcast of all places, but I've never played Stardew. But they were saying that basically like it's that classic like farming game's got beehives in it, and all they are is just like honey output, and you don't really do
Yeah.
anything else. You just kind of leave them to go. Um, Whereas obviously we've just got like every step of the process that we've tried to do in some little gamified way.
Oh, what other games do you have on your Switch? I was a little curious.
I have got, what was I on Switch or the Steam Deck?
Switch.
I've got so it's coming from making a game that's bees. I've got Blasphemous, which is like a 2D Bloodborne, Dark Soulsy, very gribbly, not cute and adorable at all in any way, shape, or form. What else was I playing loads of recently on the Switch? I can't even remember. It's a bit sad. Like since making a game, I just haven't played that many games as much.
I
Um,
can imagine.
Hyper Light Drifter I've got on the Switch. That's one of my favorite games. Um, which was also
Hyper.
made in Game Maker. So I'm like, if they can do it, anyone can.
Yeah.
And then having loads of issues myself, like surely they didn't have all of these problems. I feel like if I ever talked to the dev of Hyper Light Drifter, they'd be like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Um, but yeah, that's a really fun one for the Switch. And then Hollow Knight, which is probably like
hmm
an all-time favorite game, and that's just so nice on handhold because I
Yes.
play it on like PC for quite a while.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just wouldn't be very good at it, and then like move into handheld, I was like, oh, this is so much better. I can actually beat some of these bosses finally.
I I technically beat it.
Technically,
It's like 59% passing. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's a B, it's a C, it's a pass.
C's get degrees. What I was saying. But yeah,
What did you get
earlier.
stuck on?
So, the really dark place. I remember it was towards the left side of the map.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
Deep Nest.
yes, that I
Spooky
spent
place.
several hours trying to navigate it in the dark because I did not buy a flashlight and I totally forgot that
Oh
existed.
no.
And I made it kind of a decent amount like through, but again, no flashlights. I was just kind of
Oh, that's horrible.
memorizing things that I was running into and that were killing me.
It's bad enough at the best of times because it's such a like intentionally like mazy area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so difficult to then get around, let alone like in pitch black.
Yes.
And all the because I like playing with headphones on, so like all the noises in Deep Nest are like so insecty and
Yeah.
gribbly, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I don't like being here, and need to leave immediately.
Did you do anything in particular to celebrate in any way?
I actually
Like
haven't,
pat on the
but
back?
no, there's been. I'm pretty awful for that. I think most creators are in some way, but luckily I've had Jamie has been like, we're doing something next week. Like, come on, we released a bloody game. Like, we actually did a thing. And same with some of my friends have been like we're gonna go and do something, and go out and actually just enjoy the fact that it's out. So I think like as long as I can kind of end the weekend with there's nothing major outstanding, people can kind of play the game and they can play multiplayer, and there's a few bugs, but it's kind of fine.
Yeah.
I think then I can just kind of like try and forget about it. I kept joking to everyone like, once the game's out, I'm going to just disappear for a few weeks. But I think in some form, I just need to have just a little break from it, not worried that anything's like breaking and people are, if people can't play the game, then, I can't just leave people like that. So as long as I can leave this weekend, have it in, just a playable state and everyone's kind of happy, then I can just actually enjoy the fact that it released a game, like, after so many years of talking about doing it. So yeah, it'd be nice to finally properly enjoy it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I could just probably ask you how many
Yeah, but
bee
whoa,
species?
Black Arrow's already on it, 35.
35.
Maybe there's some secrets, but there's 35 icons in your hotbar. Which I'm then thinking about, like, how many butterflies and how many solitary bees is like acceptable for an
Any
update.
amount.
And then if I do the water bees, and it's like, how many bees are going to end up being in this game? It can't be like hundreds, because then it kind of goes against the point of me
No,
being
you've
like,
done such a great job conserving and rehabilitating that
yeah, be like, do that 100 times. You're like, oh
yeah.
god. So I think if I can get it that it's like a reasonable amount, it doesn't end up feeling just like grunt work. But yeah,
But
it probably
you'd
will end up
also have
being
people
like
who would love that.
60 odd bees in the end.
I feel like that's a reasonable number.
Yeah. It's a shame I can't do like 833 or something.
Are any of the bees rainbow?
Are there any rainbow bees? I think there is one kind of rainbow. To be fair, a lot of the bees, not in a boring way, but I kind of kept them to all have the same color palette. Like per species, just to make it a little bit easier to identify them, with the shapes and the color for each bee.
Okay.
But when we was doing there was some streams we were doing a long time ago for like the beta testing.
Beta testing.
Yeah, and we were doing like little giveaways for, not a giveaway, but like a redeem in chat. And if someone did like a ridiculous amount of points, I would draw them a bee based on their suggestions, which started off really nice, and it'd be like space bees. And then towards the end, it was like, oh, I wish I could find some of them. But it's just people doing like a Rubik's Cube bee. Like, it was just really weird things towards the end. And they're probably the most colourful bees that I've drawn, and they're not even in the game, which is disappointing. So we'll have to remedy that for the solitary bees for sure. Get some rainbow bees in the game.
Yes.
And some rainbows. Hell, come on.
I'm wearing one of them right now.
That's true. Like, why is that not in the game? Just immediately put them in the game.
Yeah, copy paste. It's easy.
Yeah, it's already done. Come on, Elle, just add them.
Just put them in.
Just add them in.
Is this the most you've been able to play in a while without specifically testing?
I think it is, actually, and I've tried to, like, I saw a few things earlier and I was like, nope, not even gonna look at it. Not even gonna think about it. So it probably is the most I've actually...
Nice.
Even though, like, I've contributed nothing to this. Well, I
You
made a little house.
made it
I
so
made a little
pretty
house.
here. You made a
Um,
house and
but even
you
though I
brought
haven't done
everyone
any bees
over.
or anything, like, yeah, that's probably the most I've actually just sat
I
in the
feel like
game.
I'm crawling now.
Yeah,
I
now
feel
it's worn
so
off. You're like,
slow.
oh. This is why. Now you realise why they gave us the what was it, alcohol glorification?
Yeah.
Because we made it so much
Okay, right.
fun that people were like, I need more.
Are you looking forward to hopefully an actual night of sleep?
Yeah, I think it'd be nice because I'll probably check things in a minute after this, just to make sure there's not. I mean, not like I can do anything because like I'm obviously not going to work on anything. But I'd like to know that there's not anything like too major. To find out what the drama was with Steam, which I think has been sorted now anyway. But
Okay.
I just kind of need to tick it off to know that it's fine, and then I'm just gonna sleep and not do anything tomorrow. I think is the plan.
What is your favorite breakfast?
I'm quite boring in that I just have the same honey nut cornflakes
I
every
love
day.
cereal though.
Every day. I'll happily have like cereal as breakfast and dinner. I don't care what anyone says.
You're an adult, okay? You can
I'm
eat
gonna
whatever
eat
you
cereal
want.
all the time, and none of you can stop me. And I'll keep doing it.
Exactly.
I can't be stopped.
No, that's part of one of the conversations that my mom and I have often.
Oh yeah, nice.
They'll just ask, "Oh, what'd you eat today?" And before I even answer, she'll just say cereal. Like
that's one of the words you always remember. Is being sassily asked if you had cereal for breakfast. Yes, Mom.
Yeah, had it for dinner too last night. I was tired. All right, so what's your favorite dessert then?
Favorite dessert is actually oh my god, how's this still going? I really like red velvet cake and custard, cold custard specifically. That's my like.
By cold custard do you mean like frozen custard?
Oh no, just like
just
cold,
chilled?
like the was it like not even instant custard? It's just in the tubs, just off the shelf.
Okay. Okay.
That's my like, always cheer me up little dessert. That's my favorite. Definitely. What about you?
Ice cream.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yes.
We can't go wrong.
No. Especially in the form of sandwiches where I don't even have to scoop it. Yeah, just unwrap it and enjoy.
Don't even have to work for it.
Exactly. Were there any unintentional things that became part of what we're playing now?
I'm trying to think, because there's been loads of stuff that was over time that's like, there's definitely we were just like, yeah, that kind of works, like I kind of like that. And then it's just like, for like half lazy developer, where you're like, yeah, that kind of works. And half just kind of works fine. Like I know like the lifespan resets when you take the bee out of the hive, because I don't store lifespan on the bee, it's just kind of in the hive.
Yeah.
But then so many people are like kind of expecting that if they took the bee out and it had like 2 seconds left,
it would pick up
that it would still have those 2 seconds. But then I'm kind of like, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of like abuse that you could do with that, and also like stop disturbing them, they're trying to work, like they're busy. So then that kind of just stayed in, and now I kind of stand by it, and I'm like, no, that's definitely like, that's kind of how I'm intending it to work now.
Anyway, I could literally play this all night, but I won't keep you longer than you want.
Yeah, I might. So... What time is it now, actually? Yeah, for me here it is 11:30 in a minute, so I'll probably go at 11:30. Yeah, just because it's been a day.
Yeah.
It's certainly been a day. It's already, I can see some some fun stuff on
Nice.
Twitter that I'm like, what has happened in... I've only been gone 2 hours. Like, what has happened on Twitter that everyone's tweeting about? Hopefully nice things.
Yeah. You have a nice night of rest ahead of you, I hope.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to just be like, okay, I can be done now, and just have an actual break for a bit.
Yeah.
Got some of the urgent things out the way today, and just everyone can just play for a bit and leave me alone. And I'll do a really big patch when I'm back. Just let me have sleep now.
Yes.
But yeah, it'd be fun. It's been good. Like overall, it has been good. Like,
that's awesome.
Talking to Jamie about and like seeing all the cool things and like all the reviews that people have put are like just so ridiculously nice. Like it's just crazy. So there's so much nice stuff like that. I think it's easy to let like some shitty comments or like some annoying bugs to just kind of take away from all that. And you just have to step back and be like, no, like this has been really good.
Yeah.
You just need to accept that.
Yeah.
Rather than just be like, oh my god, this one little thing, like it's the end of the world. Like just have to chill a bit. Yeah. But yeah, it's good. But thanks for this, like this has been fun. Like it should definitely do some
thank
more
you so much for joining. For like
chilling, taking all our sawdust to the swamps.
Yeah.
Wandering,
this is where it lives
drinking all the mead and running around in circles.
I look forward to.
What more could you want?
Yeah. Well, I would always be happy to play off stream, on stream, whatever. And
especially as well, if anyone's going to be like, hey, multiplayer doesn't work, I'll be like, please come and watch us play in front of your very eyes for hours. And then tell me it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Pleasure was all mine. And I'm glad that you were able to sit down and actually enjoy the game and, you know, not for specifically testing purposes.
What a treat. Yeah.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, I'll head off.
Okay. If I save and quit, I'm not going to break anything? Well. Okay.
I'll save my progress just in case I come back. But yeah, if you save and quit now, it should be fine. I mean, we'll find out. I can just watch it. And if it crashes, then that's just a way to end the stream.
3, 2, 1. Saving. Okay, I think we're good.
Yay.
All right.
Well, it didn't break. Incredible.
Yeah, it didn't break. We're buzzing with excitement. I see we're running 110 now.
Basic functionality. Yeah, 110 now.
Alright.
I can get us to like 833, then that'll be the ultimate update number.
Nice. I will let you get some rest. Take care.
See you later, guys.
And thank you again so much for hanging out.
Oh, that's okay. It's been great.
Well, a lot of fun.
See you all later.
See ya.